Hello, YouTube subscribers. Today or tonight, whenever you're watching this, I am doing another horror movie review. Um, this time it's a PG-13 rating horror movie. Um, if you guys follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I already posted there. If you guys don't, and if you guys couldn't tell by the title, it's Insidious, Red Door. I know that's hard to see. There you go. I saw Insidious, Red Door at 2:25 at the Kennewick movie theater. Gotta be honest, I was not expecting to go to the movies today. I was not I totally forgot about Insidious Red Door. I was still debating on it until last night. Last night I just jumped on it and today I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go see it. All I was planning to do today was laundry. Finish watching Jurassic World, because I saw Jurassic World 1. I haven't seen 2 and 3 yet. It was actually really funny yesterday because me and my friend Barrett was talking about it. He to be honest, depends on your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. Mine is mine. He's not excited for it, but he told me he's been seeing a lot of ads for it, and once I got home, I basically text him, hey, it's actually out. Yeah, it's out today in theaters. That's why they've been showing a lot of ads. But after I found out yesterday, and I meant to go down and talk to my mom and sister, but I was watching something that actually made me relax and made my body shut down. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I watch something and it just makes your body shuts down and fully relax, and just makes you fall asleep if you're laying down on your bed. But that's what I was doing, and I actually snapped out of it. I actually snapped into a deep freaking sleep. And yeah, not a freaking good sleep, because I gotta say here, yeah. But anyway, getting past that. So I woke up today, told my mom, and I'm like, if we can't do it, then, well, if she can't drop me off, and if I can't go see it today, then I could wait until next week, because then I could do the whole movie series and review them. I mean, I still could, but I was thinking, okay, well, before this one, I could do basically as I did with Scream and Spider-Man, and so far on my channel, that of what I did before a movie. So far, horror movie and a Spider-Man movie came out in theaters. But Insidious Red Door. I went and saw it. Do I have my negatives? Yeah, but not. Well, after I buy it, and over later on of days, months, and years, will I find more issues about it? More likely. Like I did with the prequels, first one and second one, but, which I'll get those later on, when I review those. Insidious Red Door. I gotta say, this one should actually be praised as it should, and not get so much hate as it's getting right now. Because if people actually shut up, sit down, and actually watch it, they're actually getting what they actually want. It may not be the family member. We're finally getting the family back. We're actually getting a real chapter 3. And yeah, sure, it's not a year later where we're seeing the dad and the son trying to figure it out a year later and trying to see the husband and wife bicker about it in a house. To me, once I heard that by a YouTuber that I follow, I'm like, not trying to be mean, but you could sit down and watch any movie with that. Not 51st Dates, but even though that's a good movie. Basically any marriage or couple drama show or movie. But anyway, Twilight. But and then but what we got, it should actually still be praised of what we got, because it was good. Even though the one jump scare we basically, let's face it, we all knew that was coming, and most of us probably jumped anyway. Like moi. There was a few, like 3 or 4 times, which I'll get into that as well. But what we actually got, once again saying as a broken record, it should be praised. We should be actually glad of getting a real chapter 3, a real true third movie based on the family we actually started with, and actually seeing, and honestly, so what, it's a few years later, the husband and wife is divorced. It's more better. It brings more trauma into the picture, because it's even though the husband thought even though all of them thought it was better this way, to actually forget the 2 years that passed that happened, and it turned out to be the bad thing. And honestly, even though the wife, now ex-wife, but they're still close to a certain point, still thought it was a good thing, and so did the husband's mother. Even though they still thought it was a good, positive thing that they did, it actually wasn't. It still wasn't. Once the dad and the son actually fully remembered, it was actually better, because the trauma they went through, because it actually brings out a lot of things that parents and kids should pay attention. That parents should pay attention to their kids, and that kids needs to pay attention about their parents. Is that basically this movie, any movie could throw this out to you, but this movie actually, to me, sets a little more higher bar of a better picture. Is that kids express themselves. Most kids express themselves through the thing that interests them. For Dalton, it was art. He expressed himself through art, and it reopened that door by remembering of what he went through as a child and what he has forgotten, and for Dalton, he was shut out. He felt like nobody, basically a normal fucking teenager, and about to go to college. That nobody understood him, not even his family members, and he felt like he couldn't talk to any of them because they were so, because of what happened. And to me, that's the best fucking thing we have gotten because in this series, because it just expressed of how much that door could stay open and be waiting and waiting for that darkness to just come out again, because while it's been waiting patiently in the dark and getting angrier and hungrier, it'd be a lot more harder to close. So, with the dad also trying to find what the fuck is wrong with them, and with the son and the father be at their throats, each other's throats, because, hey, we're the ones that's dealing with this fucking problem, and hey, we're the ones that is at our own throats for each other's throats for a reason. Shouldn't we figure this out together? When actually the reality is that that's what a real, basically, daughter, son would do to their mother and father. If each other's going through trauma, they will find it in their own way, separately, not together, like a real family should. So it should open up parents' minds and kids' minds that, hey, you're not alone in this. We're both going through it. So the story plot, I give 100 out of 100. The emotions that goes through this movie, I give it 100 out of 100, because and honestly, the only reason why I'm actually giving this a higher rating than some people are is because those some people aren't realizing they're actually getting what they want, just even though it's not their full painted picture of what they actually wanted, but they're getting a piece of it. It is because this is another Insidious movie that actually made me cry. Seriously. I'm not joking. There's been a few horror movies in my time that I've gone through, that actually made me cry, shockingly. It Chapter 2. Pray for the Devil. And Insidious Chapter 3. Insidious, Red Door. And I know there's a few others, but yes, this one did make me cry. Mostly because I have my own issues of my own, and that's probably one of the reasons why. So, and that was because, and it was a scene where the dad was about to sacrifice himself for his son, and the son didn't want to leave without him, and for some reason, even though I have daddy issues, I still cried. I cried. I don't know if it was because I understood, and that's actually what I actually want from a father. or is because I actually like the characters, even though we only spent like 2 movies with those characters. Um, um, most of the jump scares, yes, I will say there was at least three or four that actually got me. Uh, Even one of them that I was already expecting, because there have been a few horror movies that I can tell a jump scare from a mile away, and it still gets me. And it still gets me. Even if they show them in the trailers most of the time, it gets me. So, like, one that they shown in the trailers where they actually show where I thought it was Dalton. This whole entire time, I thought the dad was seeing a version of Dalton dead as a zombie. And when reality, it wasn't. It wasn't. We actually finally get to see where Dalton's dad got his ability from. As we knew later on, or earlier on, it wasn't. He didn't get it from his mom. He didn't get it from his mom's side, because, as we know, it's passed down generation, or at least the firstborn child, because clearly, obviously, Dalton's brother and sister did not get that ability, even though I was waiting for Dalton's brother and sister to say something, because in this one, Dalton's brothers started saying that he was having that he started to see stuff, start having night terrors. I'm like, is it actually? It doesn't. Is he gonna say he has the ability? Is he gonna say that he also has it? That it didn't just stop at one child? That all 3 freaking children has it? Which would suck. But the daughter just having time of her life in the ghost land. Wah! No, anyway. So clearly it doesn't. It could skip. Yes. Basically, could it skip the mom if it did come from her side? It could have. It could have skipped her, and she could have given it to Dalton's dad. But it didn't. Red Door explained basically his dad gave it to him. Basically kept with the father's side story. That, hey, your dad had it. This is why your dad wasn't around. It's because, A, he basically jumped off a roof and killed himself because he couldn't handle it no more. And he knew there could have been a possibility, and also he couldn't explain it to his wife until their son started doing it. That's when she actually started realizing what her husband went through. So, by fear of her son actually making the suicide route as his dad did, we got that whole first maybe second movie story plot explained. And now we're here. The dad's actually losing his mind because of, actually not because of the ability, but not remembering. So, and the dad's actually to this point of suicidal because he can't remember the past 2 years. Those past 2 years, and finding out that it wasn't a zombie dead Dalton version that we were seeing the whole entire time as a warning. No, it was still a warning, but it was his dad. It was Dalton's grandfather that we were seeing, that he was trying to help his own son to for the path, the journey that he's trying to lead his son, so Dalton's dad could turn around and get his question fully answered, so he could turn around and go to Dalton and help Dalton as well. But Dalton is actually getting the answers more quicker, and actually tap dancing, fun doing it. Not literally, not physically, but to a point, having fun with it. And I'm sorry, one of the jump scares that was actually supposed to be scary, it really wasn't. It was disgusting. Not by scared. I wasn't scared, and that's why I wasn't covering my eyes. No, I can handle disgusting shit, but when it's vomit, when the person turns around and vomits most of the time into the camera, most of the time I can't handle that shit. No. So that was one of the jump scares that actually no, I could not watch. It didn't really scare me either, but yeah. So jump scares, I give it a fuck it, 50 out of 100. Acting wise, 100 out of 100, maybe 50 out of 100, because I mean, even though the guy that plays Dalton's dad was actually the director of it, the acting wasn't that bad. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. It was a bit in the middle. And honestly, Dalton friended maybe could be something more, because I see something more than just friendship. But he once he first gets to college, he actually gets a girly friend, and she's black, so sticking with that stereo horror type, and she's basically the comedy of this movie, and comedy, I have to say, most time lands, and her comedy, it does most times lands but not always. Like she she I honestly, she reminded me of my friend Nate, because honestly, when I met him, he was the exact the same. He still is. A black person doesn't survive long in a horror movie. No shit. That's basically the original stereotype. And honestly, I always stick with that. Except later on, newest generations, remakes try to stick with that, but requels tries to change that, and they're partly getting there. So can't stick with that landing for so long, but years changing, because I guess with the years changing with every generation, I guess the rules change as well. Not in every horror movie the black person dies, and not every horror movie the virgin dies. So the virgin may live with the black person, and hurrah! We all throw on our sombreros and shake our cha-chas. So yeah, basically, Insidious, the Red Door, and at first, yes, I did agree with everybody. Why call it the Red Door? Why not actually call it Chapter 3? Even though you messed up with one of your Insidious movie titles with the actual Chapter 3, when it really wasn't. But actually watching this film, it actually explains a lot why it's actually called Insidious Red Door, because it's based on the Red Door itself, because they focus on the Red Door. All Dalton's, well, almost all Dalton's paintings has the Red Door on it. Yes, he has a drawing of his grandmother. Which, okay, as an artist myself, yes, I did get pissed at his art teacher and at Dalton, because when he heard her say, rip up your drawing that you basically made to display for me so I could see your artwork. Yeah, basically, if it's a normal, typical drawing and painting that you could turn around and do again, that you're good at, so you can turn around and do it again. Yes. To a certain point, to just get into the class, I think I would have brought in a okay drawing, like at least a drawing that would pass me in to be one of her students, but where I wouldn't even care to rip, even though I know I can redo it again. But if it's a family member that I actually cared about, no. Other than that, one of my other, even though that wasn't really my nitpick problems, that's just an emotional problem I had. Even though, yeah, they could done, even if they wanted to recast, do that whole still married and trying to figure out the de-aging crap, fine. But they didn't, and that's why I actually like this Insidious film as the way it is. And that's why I should believe it should get more praise than it's getting. Because even though in one scene, it did have a bit de-aging CGI on the dad, but and it was not really that good. It wasn't, it was bad, but it was a real quick scene where you could barely even care for a long period of time. Unlike most of the MCU, not trying to be mean, I love the MCU, but most of the MCU films and Disney films that I try to do de-aging do not land correctly. So that's one of my nitpicks. So overall, Insidious Red Door, where it lands on my Insidious favorite list, basically, honestly, the first movie will always be first. Second movie will always be second. But Insidious Red Door will be third on that favorite list. Always. It will always go that way. It's not because of the family. It's not actually how it's supposed to go that way. It's actually to me, that's actually how I feel like that will be always on my list of in order of how the Insidious movies will go on my favorite list. First, second, and third. Then, after the Red Door will be the two prequel movies after that. So, but drop your comments down below. What did you guys think about this movie? Did you guys even see it? What's your favorite Insidious movie? What's your favorite part in any Insidious movie? What's your favorite Insidious list that you have in order to watch them in, or just generally just you have of a favorite list? Who's your favorite Insidious character? from the Insidious universe. Who's your favorite Insidious monster from the Insidious universe? Hit that like button if you like this review. Hit that dislike button if you didn't like this video. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have, then great. I welcome all new and old subscribers with open arms, and I will always will, because you guys are awesome. Have a nice day. Have a nice night whenever you're watching this. Peace.